In this video, I want to ask you a question. It's an important question that every songwriter should be able to answer. Do me a favor, imagine for a second that your favorite artist and biggest musical inspiration is playing a concert and you're standing in the front. The house is packed, many thousand people are there, and you are loving the show when your idol addresses the crowd. So, who here wants to be on stage with me? Immediately, one of your friends grabs your sleeve, lifts up your arm, and before you know what's going on, you're already up there. Your idol giving you a high five, spotlights blinding you, the eyes of tens of thousands of fans watching your every move. When your idol asks you what you do, that same friend shouts, "Songwriter!" Your icon cracks a smile. Really? Do you have a recording? Let's hear it. So, shaking, you pull out your phone, hold it up to the mic, and press play. There you are, thousands of people who've never heard your music before listening to your song, including your favorite artist. You know that this could be the pivotal moment that puts you on the map, that changes everything. So here's my question. Do you have a song you could confidently play in this situation? A song that you know is good enough to give everyone goosebumps, good enough that everyone starts dancing and will have a good time. In other words, do you have a song that will win them over? Can you say that you have written and produced a truly great song? It takes a lot to be a songwriter these days. Long gone are the times where you could strum a few chords on guitar and sing a melody. Today, we don't just write. You record, perform, arrange, market, and produce ourselves and other artists in multiple styles and often multiple languages. And thanks to the internet, your competition isn't Jim from Open Mic Night anymore. It's Grammy-winning songwriters from all over the world. How can you possibly stand a chance here? Well, today, I want to teach you the 3 pillars of great songwriting. Master these, and you will have a long career ahead of you, where you can play your audience like a fiddle. Fail to master these, and your songs will just fall flat, never be notable enough to be shared, or liked, or even listened to. So how do we avoid that? How do you become the best artist, songwriter, or producer you can be? Well, what if you had the same tools the biggest songwriters and producers in the world use? What if you knew the same formulas, secrets, shortcuts, and blueprints that people like Max Martin, Shellback, Dr. Luke, and all your favorite writers know and use day in, day out? Sounds great, I know, like everything else on the internet. Everyone has the secret sauce or the magic pill. I've fallen for ruthless marketers where I was all hyped up to get to know some super special secret, and after much ado, many emails and a lot of hot air, the so-called secret ended up being stuff I already knew. So why would this be different? Why should you listen to me, some German dude whose name you probably can't even pronounce? I'll even spare you the trouble of looking me up. I have never written a hit song, and if that is a requirement for you, then yeah, you might not want to listen to me. But here's the thing. When I was a teenager, I made it my sole purpose to understand how great music works. What makes a piece of music iconic? How do you transform mere inspiration into a classic? And how do you take an already great song and make it even better? These are the questions that drive me to this day. And so I've analyzed over 7,000 songs, wrote a best-selling book on the topic, and created a YouTube channel that has gathered more than 380,000 followers. That has led me to guest lecture all over the world and also helped me form professional friendships with a number of international hit songwriters. The reason why holistic songwriting resonates with so many professional songwriters is not because I am an altruistic super genius, which I obviously am, but because I have a different approach than most. Instead of building on the standard structure of music theory, I analyze songs like a scientist would, without any preconceived notions. And in the course of doing that, I have come up with 3 basic pillars of songwriting. Master each of these pillars and you'll write songs on the international level. Fail to use them properly and your songs will never really take off. You ready? Number 1, groove. A great song moves you physically. It speaks to your body. Whether it's the softest, prettiest ballad or the noisiest metalcore song, if it's great, it moves you in some way, and I will show you how to take full control of that. Pillar number 2, pitch. A great song moves you not only physically, but also emotionally. It conveys something that words can't express. In other words, it touches your heart. You know how powerful film music can be in shaping an experience. I will teach you how you can do that in your songs. I obviously can't teach you how to have feelings, but I can show you how to communicate them properly through your songs. Pillar number 3 is story. Top songwriters know how to keep a listener engaged. Grooving along and creating the right feeling isn't enough to keep someone listening for 3.5 minutes. We need to learn how to control our listeners' attention. And that includes things like structure, lyrics, and marketing. What would your life look like if you had fully mastered these 3 elements? If every song you wrote would tell a story that hooks your listeners? If you could reliably create goosebumps, sadness, or excitement, and tie all of that together in an infectious groove that invites your listeners to dance and move as one? Now, I use the term mastered, and I don't use that word lightly. Mastering songwriting isn't an overnight thing that you learn in a weekend. There's a reason you've heard of the 10,000-hour rule. It takes time and commitment to master a skill, and anyone who tells you otherwise is lying to you. You know what most people misunderstand about the 10,000-hour rule? When the idea was popularized in Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers, this 10,000-hour mark suddenly became a mystical thing. 10,000 hours turned into the tipping point where some magical transformation would suddenly take place. But doing something for 10,000 hours won't transform you into something new. If we applied that logic, then we'd regularly see elderly bus drivers transform into stuntmen. Anders Ericsson, the scientist behind the discovery, emphasized that it can't just be 10,000 hours dedicated to a craft. It actually really matters what and how you practice. You can spend 10,000 hours practicing the wrong thing, hitting plateau after plateau, or you can actually use your time wisely and follow a program that takes you to world-class levels in a very short time frame. That's why I created Holistic Songwriting Academy. I designed HSA as a top-level songwriting university. The problem with universities is, and you'll know this if you've studied music, they aren't specialized towards songwriting. They teach you how to play an instrument and jazz and classical composition techniques, and if you're lucky, you'll analyze some 60s rock and pop, but unfortunately, that's about it. Personally, I went to university to learn how to write songs that connect with an audience today, that sound like now. And I didn't get that, and I don't know any musician who did. If your goal is to write in any of the contemporary styles, whether it's pop, rock, hip-hop, metal, funk, techno, EDM, R&B, house, whatever, you're not learning what you need to know at university. And that's why I created Holistic Songwriting Academy. Now, as I already mentioned, mastering a complex skill like songwriting takes time. Even though HSA is designed to make you a master and show you literally everything you need to know in the shortest time frame possible, it still isn't a magic pill that will transform your skills overnight. But if you are willing to treat it like a university seminar and put in the work, you will make real progress towards becoming the best songwriter you can be. And even though HSA is a lot quicker and more relevant than going to university for 3 to 5 years, the workload itself is condensed down so that you can manage it even if you have a full-time job and have a life. Now, don't get me wrong. The students who got the most out of HSA dedicated at least 10 hours a week to the course and their songwriting. But that's kind of my point. Going to university usually requires you to be a full-time student and makes you visit lectures and seminars that don't serve your aim of becoming a better songwriter. In contrast, HSA requires about as much time as an intense seminar or course, so it's great for people with a lot of time on their hands as well as those with a busy life. I've broken HSA down into 3 trimesters in alignment with the 3 elements of great songwriting we talked about: groove, pitch, and story. So let's talk about groove, because that's where all great songs start. Groove is how we make sure that all individual elements and instruments are playing together, so they don't get in each other's way. So we're not just talking about the drums, we are talking about an entire arrangement. Our core question is, where do you place notes and how long should they be playing? Oh, and by the way, in the next email I'll be sending you, you will get access to one of my favorite arrangement techniques, which many HSA alumni have called an absolute game changer, and you're getting this lesson for free and completely uncut. But let's get back to HSA. In the first trimester, you will understand what it means to make something groove, how to move people, what types of movement there are, and how to arrange that for a whole band or instrumental. You will get masterclasses on writing for kick drum, snare, and hi-hat. I know to some of you this might sound really nerdy, but this isn't just important for drummers. Mastering these instruments is crucial for making your songs groove, and it's insane how many songwriters fail at this. That's not going to happen to you after you've gone through this trimester. You will also learn how to write fills, how to use syncopation, and complexity. If you are into drunk hip-hop beats or complex time signatures, as many metalheads are, we cover that too, always with our goal in mind to write music that people actually want to listen to. Now, as I said, this isn't just for drummers, which is why you will also learn to write for the entire rhythm section. Bass, piano, guitars, synths, whatever you want to use, so you can learn how to get all of your instruments to groove together. We'll look at the nuances that we need to keep in mind when writing groove for harmonic and melodic instruments. In short, you learn how to construct a rhythm section, how to write overdubs, and how each individual part relates to one another. So we can create a kind of motor that just pulls you along. And then finally, in the last module, we will learn how to write vocals that complement this rhythm section. As a little gift for you, I've made you a roadmap which you can download using the link below this video. Now, let me emphasize here that this is not just a long lecture spread over a few months. This is truly interactive and transformative because you will get your hands dirty. Every week you will complete assignments so you can internalize the concepts you learned. You will take tests, listen to specially curated playlists to dissect songs with the new tools you have acquired, and actually write a new song every week. You will get to know your fellow students, and if you like, you can collaborate. This is completely optional, but highly encouraged. Also, you will have 2 live streams every single week where you get the chance to ask questions and receive feedback on the songs you have written. HSA will take you by the hand and level you up as a songwriter, whichever level you are at. Whether you want to turn from a songwriting child into a songwriting adult, or from a pro to a master, HSA is ultimately designed to help you reach a world-class, international level of songwriting expertise. Now, a little word of warning here. I've seen everyone from beginners to real pros, and no matter who took part, everyone came out of the experience a different and better songwriter. But beginners have a much steeper learning curve, full stop. That's just the way it is. The beginners who stick with HSA take more time to complete the exercises, and I want you to be aware of that. Now, if you already have an extensive background in music, some of the exercises will be fairly simple, and you can blast through those pretty quickly. But honestly, even if you are a seasoned vet, there are some assignments that will produce pearls of sweat even on your brow. In all seriousness, you can just go ahead and spend 10 to 20 years analyzing songs and writing music to learn this stuff by yourself. I know, because that's what I did. I learned it the hard way, banging my head against the wall, making a lot of mistakes, going 3 steps forward, 2 steps back over the course of 2 decades, asking tons and tons of questions and experimenting in over 1,000 songs. Or you drink from the garden hose and invest your time into HSA, and after a year, you'll know how to craft songs in any style. That's something that's actually really important to me. Most songwriters are one-trick ponies. They basically write the same song over and over again. At HSA, you learn how to write songs in every popular style: pop, hip-hop, funk, rock, R&B, metal, techno, EDM. And I can promise you results if you're willing to put in about 10 hours a week. If you are willing to do that, you will save yourself decades in the long run. Simple as that. Now, this kind of transformative education obviously doesn't come for free, so in a future video we'll be talking about the price. But for now, I just want to say thank you for listening and for spending a little bit of time with me. You are the type of songwriter I'm doing HSA for, so keep your eyes on your email inbox because, as I said, you will find one of my most transformative lessons there real soon. And this is not some marketing bullshit. You are actually getting one of the best lessons from HSA uncut for free. I want you to experience what HSA can do for you. And if you choose not to join at this point in time, I guarantee your songwriting will level up with this one lesson alone. All I'm saying is, don't miss out on this. So, thanks again for watching, and leave me a comment telling me if you'd rather write for others or yourself, and in which genres you would want to write in. If you have a question, you can let me know that also. Until then, take care and stay gefährlich.